Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or The Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, I'm going to be bringing you guys a 12-team PPR mock draft from the 12th overall slot. I am going to be doing this for one of my subscribers. His name is Jonathan O. If you guys have a mock draft that you would like to suggest, leave it down below in the comments. If you guys would like a comment read on my YouTube channel, please make sure to leave a review on my podcast on Apple Podcasts. It's called Notorious Fantasy Football. Leave a 5-star review and a comment, and I will make sure to read it on the next video. So let's get right into this. A 12-team PPR mock draft from the 12th overall spot. The roster positions are 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wideouts, a tight end, flex, kicker, defense, and 6 bench spots on fantasypros.com. They do not sponsor me, so I will not say anything about their website. So let's get right into it. So this is a draft against the computer, so the picks are going to go pretty fast, but we are going to obviously adjust straight to them and pick with the computer. So the first pick of the draft was Run CMC, Christian McCaffrey, which is very typical, followed by Saquon Barkley, Michael Thomas, Ezekiel Elliott, DeAndre Hopkins, Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor. If Jonathan Taylor goes to one of those top teams, he may fuck around and be a first-round pick. If I'm being honest with you, this guy has the talent. If you watch his combine, you'll have a wet dream. If you watch his highlight tape, you will it's just crazy how good this man is. I think there is potential for him to be a top 12 pick going in fantasy drafts. Would I take him at 11? Right now, I'm not too sure. Once I know his landing spot, it will have me... I will be more sure of where I would pick him. Right now at 11, that does not really surprise me. I think he will end up in drafts around the first or at the end or the beginning of the second round or the end of the first round when looking at drafts in 2020. So everything was pretty typical here. A bunch of running backs, no quarterbacks, and 2 wide receivers. Now, Jonathan O requested that we do a running back heavy type of draft here, and that's what we're going to do here in the draft. So we're going to go running back here with Nick Chubb. To me, that is a no-brainer. That's who I would pick 100%. I love Davante Adams, and I can see a reason for picking Davante Adams here, but I just think Nick Chubb is going to be amazing. Now, I know a lot of people, including myself, sometimes I joke around about how Kareem Hunt is going to steal Nick Chubb's touches, this, that, and the other thing. He's not going to. All he's going to do is steal Nick Chubb's passing opportunities, and that does not matter because the new coach of the Cleveland Browns is a run-heavy man. They love to run the rock in Cleveland. He's the man who turned around Dalvin Cook. He made Dalvin Cook run the rock 1,000 fucking times. And that's what Nick Chubb is going to do in 2020. I love Nick Chubb in 2020. I think that he is going to be a top running back in 2020. I think he has the potential to be a top 5 running back. So here at the 12th overall pick, I mean, that's just light work for me here at the 1.12. Sorry that I got a bit stupid there. So obviously after you pick at the 112, you go yet again in a 12-team league. I personally like to draft actually at the back half of the draft. I just find it much easier to figure out what I want to do when you can pick back to back. There's no one dictating who you're really going to pick. Because if you're in another type of situation, you're looking at the draft board and say you're picking at number 11 here. Then you have the guy at 12 picking twice. So you got to dictate your pick based on what you think they're going to do. When you're at the 12th pick, you're at the final pick, whether that's 10, 12, 14, or 8. No matter like the size of the league, you could just easily dictate the draft yourself, and that's what I like to do. So I'm going to go with Nick Chubb here, and then we're going to hit on yet another running back. Right now, if I'm in a real draft, I likely go with the guy like Davante Adams or Julio Jones here because I just like those guys. Not Julio Jones, I should say. Davante Adams or Tyreek Hill here. That's what I would do, but we're going for a running back heavy draft. Typically in your top 12 picks in the first round, your whole first round, there's typically not, I would say 2 wide receivers is on the low end. I think we're going to be seeing 3 or 4 likely in a lot of leagues. Maybe 3 will be the typical because I think 2 is just too little. I think some people like to go wide receiver heavy at the beginning of the draft, especially if you're at the pick that we're picking at here. At the 112, to go a wide or a running back 0 strategy is not too bad. You could snag 2 top-end wide receivers, 2 guys that are going to be finishing with 20-plus points potentially every single week in the first and second round, so that could be amazing for you. But here we are going to go running back. And here, there is a bit of a discrepancy on what to do here. Do we go Leonard Fournette? Do we go Austin Eckler? Do we go with Joshua Jacobs? And that's a huge question for me. Austin Eckler right now, he signed back. We know next week, right now, we know nothing. But next week we will know if Melvin Gordon is back in the LA Chargers uniform or will he be in a Tampa Bay uniform? Will he be in some completely different uniform? I have no idea. My prediction is he's gone, personally. I don't think Melvin Gordon plays another snap in a LA Chargers uniform, but that could entirely happen, and then Austin Eckler's value would go down a bit. I think they do bring in another back to be complementary to Austin Eckler, but I don't think it's going to be a guy that's going to be warranting a bazillion carries like a guy like Melvin Gordon would. It could be a guy like Jordan Howard or a guy like Lamar Miller. So I think that the fit here is Austin Eckler is going to be an amazing running back, a top 12 running back, a RB1 in 2020. But the question is he better than Leonard Fournette or Josh Jacobs? To me, I like Leonard Fournette here, but I am going to be diversifying the revenue. Like I say, guys, and these other guys say, these other fantasy analysts, they will tell you this. You need to make sure to diversify. If you're playing in just one league, go ahead and draft the guy that you want. But if you're playing in like 4, 5 leagues, you're not necessarily, when you're picking at the 112, if you're picking at the 112 in 2 leagues, you're not going to want to draft Chubb and Leonard Fournette in 2 different leagues. You're not going to want it. You're going to want to draft a guy like Leonard. You're going to want to draft Chubb, and then you're going to want to draft Eckler. Or you're going to draft Chubb, and then you're going to draft Josh Jacobs. You're going to diversify the revenue. Here, this is splitting hairs. I like Eckler, and I like Leonard Fournette a whole lot. I think I'm going to go Eckler here, though, very slightly. I think Eckler is going to be amazing in 2020. I think he's much more safe than Leonard Fournette because Leonard Fournette deals with some of those off-the-field problems. I know I said I like Leonard Fournette, and I do like Leonard Fournette. I think he will be amazing, but I think Eckler is going to be very safe. He had 132 carries in 2019 in 16 games, 557 rushing yards, which is pretty bad for running back, but he redeemed himself in the passing game, 92 total receptions for 993 receiving yards, and 11 total touchdowns. I think he puts up another great season in 2020. So now the worst part about being at the 12th overall pick here is you're going to have to wait 6 years to pick. Obviously, this is in a mock draft where I'm drafting against the computer, so it takes 6 seconds. But in real life, you're going to be sitting there with your thumb up your ass or something, having no idea what to do. So what you got to do is just stay focused, stay locked in, because you're going to be screwed over if you're sitting there at a real draft. You're not marking these guys' names off. Then you're looking there, you're like, okay, I'm going to draft this guy and this guy. You want to draft Juju, but Juju just got picked before you, and you didn't even realize it. So after we selected Austin Eckler, Miles Sanders came off the board, followed by a wide receiver run of Tyreek Hill, Julio Jones, Devontae Adams, Chris Godwin, Cooper Kupp, Mike Evans, Travis Kelce, starting at the first tight end in the draft, Todd Gurley, Kenny Galladay, Josh Jacobs, George Kittle Timbers, Allen Robinson, Keenan Allen, Lamar Jackson, Devontae Parker, Pat Mahomes, Mark Ingram, Leonard Fournette, Amari Cooper, DJ Moore, Juju Smith-Schuster. Let me start off and say Leonard Fournette in the 3rd round is outstanding value. If you can snag Leonard Fournette in the 3rd round, you should be laughing at your league mates. That is an amazing value here. I 100% like him way more than Todd Gurley. Anyone who is a Todd Gurley truther, please leave it down below in the comments why you like Todd Gurley. That man has the knee of your great-great-great-grandfather. That motherfucker has that arthritis knee. You don't want anything to do with Todd Gurley, and I certainly don't want anything to do with Todd Gurley. I think he could potentially have an amazing year if he doesn't get hurt, and if they just roll him out there and let him play a million snaps a game. But they're not going to do that. They're still probably going to limit his snap count. We shall see when OTAs start and stuff like that, where they're talking about how many snaps he's going to get. Even then, I am going to be worried. Even if they tell me that he's going to get a full workload, I still don't know if I will believe it. So a huge wide receiver run happened. 1, 2, 3 tight ends have went, and 2 quarterbacks. Typically, you're going to see a guy like Lamar Jackson or Pat Mahomes in your at-home league. Lamar Jackson may get picked in the 1st round. You just have to know that. That's just something that could happen. Unless you're playing with a bunch of guys that are as sharp as you because you watch my videos, you pay attention to fantasy football, this is just going to happen. Unless you got 12 guys in your league that are fucking sharps, this is going to happen. Someone's going to take Lamar in the 1st round. Someone's going to take Pat Mahomes in the 2nd round. But in this league, it fell to the 3rd round. Still, would I take Pat Mahomes or Lamar Jackson in the 3rd round? No. The 4th round is when I would think about it. I wouldn't even typically do that. But you can, obviously. So right now the value is actually pretty similar at every single position. Right now, 15 running backs, 15 wide receivers, 3 tight ends, 2 quarterbacks. So the 2 main positions, wide receiver and running back, is 15 and 15. So a very, very even split. So good value at both positions right now available. So at the wide receiver position, we got guys like Odell Beckham Jr., Cortland Sutton, A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs. At the running back position, we got guys like Chris Carson, Kenyon Drake, Le'Veon Bell, Melvin Gordon. So this guy said we're going to do a skull-fucking-heavy running back draft. So we're going to draft a 3rd running back here. Is this something I advise? Not necessarily, but at the value we're going to be getting here, I don't hate it. You start 2 running backs, you need a flex, you put the other running back in the flex. It's not very complicated right now. Through 2 rounds, we got Nick Chubb and Austin Eckler. We're going to go ahead and grab another guy that I love in 2020. So we could go with a guy like Chris Carson. We could go with a guy like Kenyon Drake, Le'Veon Bell, Melvin Gordon. Now, wherever Melvin Gordon lands definitely depends on if I would pick him here. If he ends up on a good team, I'll happily have Austin Eckler and Melvin Gordon on my team because they'll be on 2 different teams. But if they end up on the same team, no, I don't want that. Kenyon Drake, what happens in Arizona? Does David Johnson get the boot? He says, skedaddle. Cliff Kingsbury said, get the fuck out of here. And they bring and save Kenyon Drake, and Kenyon Drake's amazing. I don't know if that's going to happen. So I'm going to go with Chris Carson here. To be honest, I love Kenyon Drake, but I think Chris Carson is going to be very safe. Yes, I know he did get hurt at the end of the season, but he was very safe while he was playing. He was scoring a bunch of touchdowns, 15 games played, 278 attempts, 1,230 yards, 37 receptions for 266 receiving yards, and 9 total touchdowns. But he did end up having fumbleitis. He fumbled the ball 7 times, which is a bit of a worry, but I think he will end up being fine in 2020. Now, my only worry is Rashad Penny behind him. Will Rashad Penny ever emerge behind Chris Carson? It seems like Chris Carson is just always going to be the guy, the head back on the team. I am not too sure if that's what's going to happen. I hope that's what's going to happen because I don't think that Pete Carroll will ever. It won't be a true workhorse, though, because when Rashad Penny is healthy, he is still going to get the ball on the team. And even with Rashad Penny being out, Chris Carson is still not going to get all the snaps because they have other running backs on the roster. But we're going to go ahead and draft Chris Carson here at the 312. And then with our next pick, we're going to have to select a wide receiver. But I don't know if you guys are a bunch of guys who follow the memes. You know, you look at the memes. But there's this one meme where it's like, we hate blank, fuck blank. So my channel, I don't know, verbal meme, I hate Odell Beckham, fuck Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham Jr.'s value in the 4th round may be amazing, but you won't catch me leaving a real fantasy football draft with Odell Beckham Jr. This motherfucker, I hate this guy. I don't believe in him. I think he will be a bum forever. We already have Chubb. I don't want any more Browns because the Browns team is going to completely mind boggle your fantasy football lifestyle. You're going to be pissed off when they end up sucking ass yet again. The Cleveland Browns are just a dumpster fire of an organization. I think they turn it around. I think Nick Chubb puts up a solid year, but I'm not sure Odell Beckham will. They're going to be a more run-heavy offense with Stefanski. I am very worried about Odell Beckham Jr. I've always been worried about Odell Beckham Jr. because I just don't trust him, so I'm not drafting him here. You could draft him here. He's probably the best pick here, but fuck it. I don't like Odell. So we're skipping out on him. That's as simple as it gets. We're going to draft my boy, Courtland Sutton here. I love Courtland Sutton. I don't know what it is about this man, but I just love him. Courtland Sutton in 2019 with a carousel of quarterbacks, 16 games, 72 receptions, 124 targets, over 1,100 yards, 6 total touchdowns. This man in 2020 is going to be put on the map. He's going to be amazing. I really like him. A.J. Brown is a guy that I would questionably pick here, too. I think A.J. Brown will be good, but that's all about if Ryan Tannehill comes back. If Ryan Tannehill's back, I love A.J. Brown, but I actually do believe Corey Davis may somehow get better. I know I hate Corey Davis. Fuck Corey Davis. I think he's a bum, but I think that maybe, just maybe, the fact that A.J. Brown was on the second team in practice with Ryan Tannehill, since A.J. Brown wasn't really a solidified starter at the beginning of the season, really helped A.J. Brown because Tannehill already knew from practice that he wanted to throw A.J. Brown the ball, so he just hammered the ball to A.J. Brown constantly in the game, so that does worry me that Corey Davis may get some more looks in 2020, but I think I would go with Courtland Sutton here. We aren't drafting quarterback or tight end this early in the draft unless we try to do some type of mental experiment. So after we drafted Courtland Sutton, Zach Ertz came off the board, followed by Le'Veon Bell, Odell Beckham Jr., Austin Hooper, Melvin Gordon, Kenyon Drake, Maki Mock, Ingram, Devin Singletary, A.J. Green, A.J. Brown, Adam Thielen, Julian Edelman, David Montgomery, Kerryon Johnson, Stephon Diggs, James Conner, Tyler Lockett, DJ Chark, Deebo Samuel, Darren Waller, the Walrus, Robert Woods, and Calvin Ridley. So now it is our pick, and we need to pick a wide receiver, and that should be clear to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tight ends currently have been selected and 2 quarterbacks. So the quarterback value is nice in the 5th round. Will I take a quarterback? No, but it is nice. The running backs wide receiver value is pretty low here. We are going to be attacking the wide receiver position though here to get our wide receiver 2. So the best wide receivers still available, guys like T.Y. Hilton, DK Metcalf, Jarvis Landry, Scary Terry McLaurin. So we have 2 picks back to back here. So we can really snag 2 good wide receivers here and then hammer the rest of the draft at running backs, or go 1 running back, 1 wide receiver. So we definitely have to get at least 1 wide receiver though here to fill out our roster. But guys, just understand that when you're in your draft, you don't have to fill out your roster. which is what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to draft a quarterback and a tight end after I draft a wide receiver because that's not what you're supposed to do. You get value at other positions. If the value at quarterback is amazing because you're drafting with a bunch of guys that, just like me, will not draft quarterbacks early, then your value in the 5th, 6th round might be amazing. Right now, Pat Mahomes may be there if you're drafting with a bunch of expert guys, but to me, that's not going to happen in your normal leagues, I would assume. So I would just go ahead and draft running back and wide receiver value. If you guys have enjoyed this video thus far, we're about 14 and a half minutes in this video, 15 minutes in. Make sure to click that subscribe button down below. It's going to help me. It's going to help you guys win your fantasy football championship. So the next pick here is wide receiver, like I said. And T.Y. Hilton really does worry me. He has been getting banged up recently. I don't think this year he played over 8 games. He played 10 games, 45 receptions on 68 targets, 500 yards, 5 touchdowns. Who's the quarterback of the Colts? Is it going to be Jacoby Brissett? Is it going to be Phillip Rivers? Is it going to be some other free agent? Who knows? We will know next week, but I still don't trust him. I'm going to go with my man, DK Metcalf here. To me, it's close between him and Scary Terry McLaurin. I think all offseason, I'm going to be sitting there debating which guy do I pick, Scary Terry or DK Metcalf. I think DK Metcalf might be the safer option because Dwayne Haskins somehow just does not figure out how to throw the ball half the time, so I'm going to go with DK Metcalf here. After we went with DK Metcalf, now we can look at the running backs and then the wide receivers and see what we want to go here. Now, we currently have 3 running backs and 2 wide receivers. And since we want to go running back heavy here, I think we're just going to draft another running back because I think the value falls off here and just goes down completely here after my boy Marlon Mack. So we're going to select Marlon Mack here. Now, I know I don't really love the Indianapolis offense as a whole, but Marlon Mack has been very safe the last couple of years. Sure, he's not going to catch any fucking passes. You need to understand that. Marlon Mack has butterfingers. Maybe he doesn't even have butterfingers, but he will never get the opportunity to catch the ball. Okay, you just have to understand that. He's not going to get the opportunity. They bring in other guys to catch the ball in Indianapolis. 14 games played in 2019, 247 total carries, over 1,000 rushing yards, 8 total touchdowns, 14 catches for 82 yards. He's played 14 games his rookie season, 12 his sophomore season. His junior year, he played 14 games in the NFL. So he's going to average around 13, 14 games. That's fine with me at the value late in the draft. So I'm just like Marlon Mack here. After we went with Marlon Mack, Damian Williams came out the board, followed by Deshaun Watson. Dak Prescott, T.Y. Hilton, Terry McLaurin, Michael Gallup, Russell Wilson, Jarvis Landry, O.J. Howard, Evan Ingram, John Brown, Kyler Murray, Philip Lindsay, Sony Michel, Christian Kirk, Tyler, Boyd, Marquise Brown, Raheem Mostert, Josh Allen, James White, Devontae Freeman, and the W-Eater famous Jameis Winston. So now at our pick right here, we probably should have went wide receiver if I'm being honest with you because the value here I don't really like, but there is a couple players I like here. But looking back at the draft, 8 QBs have been selected and 8 tight ends. So we're going to wait probably one more round on quarterback and then pull the trigger. Typically, guys, you have to understand, I'm going to explain it later, but when a bunch of people draft a quarterback run could occur, but something that also could occur is if you're one of those guys who really likes to wait, there's going to be guys in your league who pull the trigger on their second fucking quarterback before you even pick one. If you're in a 12-team league, you don't need 2 quarterbacks, you don't need 2 tight ends, you only need 1. If you're in a 14-team league, you need 2 quarterbacks for sure. But with that being said, this is a 12-team video, so that's what we're going to be talking about. So at the wide receiver position, there actually is a guy I really like here. And that's Mike Williams. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I really believe in Mike Williams. I don't know what it is about Mike Williams that I believe in. He had an amazing season. Not this season, or last season, I should say, but 2 seasons ago in 2018. He played amazing. 11 touchdowns, but last year he only scored 2 touchdowns. He was on some type of tight end or some touchdown drought. I thought he would be amazing, but now with Phillip Rivers gone, and maybe they bring in a quarterback that throws the fucking ball to Mike Williams, I'm starting to like him. It is kind of a tie between him and Robbie Anderson, but I don't know where Robbie Anderson is going to go. If he's back on the Jets, I guess he's okay, but I think I'd rather go with Mike Williams here at the 7-12. And now at the 8-01, I want to snag another wide receiver here that I really like. And I know there's probably going to be some hate comments about this, about how, oh, Marvin Jones is an old bastard. He didn't do shit last year, Nick, you fucking idiot. Kenny Golladay is so much better than him. Blah, 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 blah. Last season, before the season, if you guys remember, there were people talking about, me included, guys talking about how Marvin Jones and Kenny Golladay are 1A and 1B. You know what happened? Kenny Golladay exploded. Marvin Jones didn't play as hot. He had some hot games. But you want to know what the difference was? Is there was no Matt Stafford. He was only there for 8 fucking games. If Matt Stafford plays a complete season, Marvin Jones is going to be an extreme value at the 8-01, even in his old age. I love him here at the 801 in 2020. 13 games, 62 receptions, 91 targets, 779 yards, and 9 total touchdowns. He was amazing. He's going to be amazing again. He had David fucking Blau last year. This year, he should have Matty Snapback for more than 8 games, you'd assume. So after we went with Marvin Jones, Willie Will Fuller came to the board, followed by Sterling Shepard, Kareem Hunt, Ronald Jones, Robbie Anderson, Golden Tate, Alshon Jeffrey, Carlos Hyde, David Johnson, Darius Geis, Duke Johnson, Emmanuel Sanders, Anthony Miller, Hunter Henry, Darius Slayton, Jamison Crowder, Sammy Watkins, Tariq Cohen, Brandon Cooks, Jamal Williams, Preston Williams, CD fucking Lamb, first rookie wide receiver off the goddamn board. So here we're going to go ahead and sling some running bike picks and probably go with a quarterback or tight end on the way back. If you guys have been enjoying this far, please click that subscribe button. So we're going to go with a running bike here, and I don't really know who to go with here if I'm being honest with you. I'll probably just go quarterback first and swing for the guy I like the most here. Between Drew Brees and Matt Ryan, it's close. I know you Packers fans, you cheesehead bastards, in the comments are going to tell me, Nick, Aaron Rodgers is amazing. Discount double check. People are going to be saying that shit in the comments. I don't like Aaron Rodgers. I don't believe in Aaron Rodgers. I think they're a more run-heavy team, so I don't believe in him. I like Devontae Adams, but I don't like Aaron fucking Rodgers. I don't believe in Rodgers anymore. He's kind of washed, if I'm being honest with you. I know people are going to be pissed off. I used to believe Aaron Rodgers was the best quarterback in the NFL. Couple of years ago, that's fake news. Now it's fucking Pat Mahomes. So we're going to go with Drew Brees here. I think that he is a bounce-back year. After last season, he was banged up a lot of the year. He didn't play a lot of the year. In 11 games, he threw 2,974 yards. Not too bad. But you want to hear how many touchdowns he threw? He threw 27 touchdowns in 11 games. Imagine he played 16. He probably would have thrown 40-something. He played amazing in 2019. I think he plays even better. They probably draft a wide receiver in the draft, you would think. That makes Drew Brees even better. Even with just Michael Thomas, he's going to feed that man the fucking rock like it is his job. Drew Brees here at the 9-12 is amazing value. So now we're going to go ahead and draft a running back because I'm not fucking with the tight end here. We've punted at the tight end position. The difference between tight end 10 and like 14 does not matter. You're going to see some guys draft some backup quarterbacks soon, but we are going to draft a running back here, and we're just going to take a dart throw it at someone. Now, realistically, in the draft, if we're sitting here, and where's Swift? I got to click on it to find him. If he was available here, you'd take him, because no one's taken Swift yet. Swift. Where is he? DeAndre Swift. You take him here, obviously. Dobbins, you take him here, obviously. But they're not going to be here in the real draft, so we're going to go ahead and select a running back here that I actually really like leaving every single draft with, and that is Mr. Darrell Henderson. I love Darrell Henderson, okay? And there's no real rhyme or reason around it. The reason is because Darrell Henderson, 10th round might be a little bit early, but I don't know if he'll come back to us in the 11th round, so that's why I'm going to pick him here, because you got to understand where you're picking on the swing. But Darrell Henderson played amazing in 2018 in college, but in 2019, he didn't really do anything because he was not given the opportunity. All the goal line work was given to Malcolm Brown, but Darrell Henderson is going to bounce back after getting hurt last season. Todd Gurley's a fucking bum. He will eventually die on the field, so Darrell Henderson is a solid handcuff at the end of drafts here. So after we went with Darrell Henderson, DeAndre Swift got taken, but he won't fall this far. If he gets drafted by a real team, he won't fall as far. DeAndre Swift, Deontay Johnson, Curtis Samuel, Alexander Madison, Tevin Coleman, Tyler Higbee, Deshaun Johnson, Matt Breida, Cam Newton, Jared Cook, Royce Freeman, me, Cole Hardman, Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz, Cole Beasley, Tyrell Williams, Jordan Howard, Brashad Perry Mann, Noah Fant, and Dallas Goedert. So here, and Dallas Goedert, and then after that was John Ross and Jerry Jeudy, rookie wide receiver. So we're to select our tight end here. We waited long enough, and it's time to just take our pick. You take the dice, you roll it, you say, fuck it, and you pick one of these guys. I'm a Dolphins fan. I like Gesicki, not just because I'm a Dolphins fan, but because he was getting some solid points down the stretch in the season. He probably did not put up that great of a fantasy football season as a whole, but towards the end, he was finding his stride. In 2019, 16 games, 89 targets, 51 total receptions, 570 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 fumble. I think this season he gets even more work. He could be near 100 targets. How many tight ends are you going to be able to find late in the draft that could see 100 targets? Not many. I like Gesicki back here late in draft. So after going with Gesicki, now we need to find a wide receiver or a running back here. So we're just going to take our guess and draft a running back that I love that I think may be available late in drafts. That's Cam Akers. I love Cam Akers. He plays for the FSU Seminoles. They fucking suck. Their offensive line is terrible, and he was rushing for a zillion yards every game behind a garbage line. If he gets to a real team, even if he's not the starter day one, he will eventually become that starter, I think, and be amazing. So Cam Akers, late in drafts, I love, love, love. So after we went with Cameron Akers, let's see. Cameron Akers, Janu Smith, T.J. Hawkingod, Latavius Murray, Aaron Rodgers, Will Dissly, Naheem Hines, David Njoku, Tony Pollard, A. Bizzle. Antonio Brown used to be getting picked on like the 5th, 6th round of drafts. Now he's fallen all the way to the 12th round. Don't pick AB until he's on a team. Just don't do it, okay? And even when he's on a team, temper your expectation because he's going to start going in like the 3rd round if he gets picked on a team. And that motherfucker could do something stupid to get kicked off that team, so I won't trust him. Ryan Tannehill, Matt Stafford, AP, Rashad Penny, Justice Hill, D.D. Westbrook, Boston Scott, Lamar Miller, Jared Goff, Benny Snell, Kirk Cousins, Chase Edmonds, J.K. Dobbins. He won't go this late either, I don't think, in draft. So we're going to go ahead and select a wide receiver and call it a video, and then pick a defense and a kicker. So we're going to go N'Keal Harry here. If he's here late in your drafts, you just have to pick him. If Tom Brady's back, N'Keal Harry will have a good season. His rookie season was riddled with injuries. He didn't play in practice. He wasn't playing, not practice, I should say, training camp. He wasn't playing in any of that shit because he was hurt. If he's healthy, I believe in him. I think he will be solid. After we went with N'Keal Harry, now you're going to pick a defense. So how you pick a defense right now, we're just going to pick the top-ranked defense. But how you're going to do it in the season, or actually practicing in a couple of months, once the schedule comes out, you type in NFL schedule week 1, you find an offense or a defense that's playing a shitty offense, and you draft that defense. It's that simple. There'll be a video for you in August about that, so please click the subscribe button. So after we went with our defense, a bunch of defenses went, a bunch of kickers, and then we are going to pick our kicker, Mason Crosby, and call it a video. So we got a C+ in this video, but that's because we went running back heavy. Personally, I might have made some different picks, but that's okay because that's the point of the video. Our quarterback was Drew Brees. Our 2 running backs are Nick Chubb and Austin Eckler. Our 2 wideouts are DK Metcalf and Cortland Sutton. Our tight end is Michael Likiamagasicki. Our flex is Chris Carson. Kicker and defense don't matter. We got Marlon Mack on the bench, Mike Williams, Marvin Jones, Darrell Henderson, Cam Akers, and N'Keal Harry. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please click that subscribe button. That's on me right now. Above me, to the right, and to the top left are going to be videos on other things that you are going to enjoy. Have a great rest of your day. I love each and every single one of you. Make sure to have a great rest of your day.